After the outbreak of the Russian-Ukrainian War, the performance of the Russian army was indeed disappointing. It was once the world's second-largest military power from my perspective as an outsider. The Russian-Ukrainian War has been fought by Russia to defend the feeling one. On the naval side, in March 2022, the Ukrainian army used a modified unmanned boat loaded with explosives to sink the Russian Black Sea Fleet's missile cruiser Moskva, the largest loss of a warship in the Russian Navy since the collapse of the Soviet Union. Of course, the official Russian narrative is that it was sunk by a cruise missile. But the small video I watched from various platforms talks about a sneak attack by an unmanned boat too. In terms of the Air Force, according to the Ukrainian side, the Ukrainian army used drones to attack Russian airfields and blew up a number of Russian aircraft, including Su-34, Su-35 and other advanced fighters 3 in the land war. In the eastern region of Ukraine, the Ukrainian army also launched a counteroffensive in Kharkiv, Kyiv and other regions. And the drones used to overcome the trenches were assembled, which caused a certain amount of pressure on the Russian army. Not only that, but the Russian army has also repeatedly revealed that logistics supplies have been attacked by drones, resulting in problems with the supply of materials for the Russian army on the front line. Many people believe that this war not only knocked out the Russian army's foundation for decades, but also deprived the Russian army of its development potential in the coming decades. Today's Russian army is in a dilemma and has fallen into an embarrassing situation. Why is this happening? I think, is science and technology to change the form of warfare. That is, drones. Not large military drones. Is cheap drones. The kind of patchwork. The conventional battlefield was dominated by tanks, supplemented by infantry. In the past, wherever the tank went to the enemy was an impregnable pillbox. Now 99 UAVs were a 10-yuan high explosive bomb. Throw it at the tank. Millions of dollars are gone. The tank does not know where the enemy is until he dies. Not only the tank. The same is true of the trenches on the front line. No matter how deep you hide, as long as there is a vent, the drone can fly in. This drone flies close to the ground. You can't find it if you want to. This is why Russia is so passive in the Russian-Ukrainian battlefield. If you have read the relevant reports, it is not difficult to find that most of Ukraine's achievements are related to drones. The cruiser of the Black Sea Fleet is killed by unmanned boats. The tank cemetery is caused by drones. And the trench attack and reconnaissance are also drones. Some people will say that Russia's front line is tight because of the high-end weapons aided by the West. I can only say that it has a certain effect. But this idea is a bit of a licking dog. You must know that the conventional weapons of various countries are basically the same. The price is almost the same. And I think a second military power can be consumed against each other. But now millions of dollars worth of military equipment and a few dollars worth of drones are consumed. Even if you have not received 9 years of compulsory education, you know that it is unreasonable. Fighting a war is money. So I conclude that Russia is tightening its defense and trying to find a way to crack the value ratio. Not real military equipment is not good. So if you go back in time, do you think Russia will still start the Russian-Ukrainian war?